Hey, you guys, how are you? Happy 2020. Hold on, let me just address my screen here. Um, Let me double check that my audio is good because I just noticed that my microphone seems to be. If you guys are joining me and you are here live, just can you just comment and let me know if you can actually hear me because I was just trying to get my audio going and it says that it's not default. Let me just check. Hold on. Address my screen here. Oh, okay. It sounds good. I can see it. It works. Okay, cool. All right. All right, you guys. Happy 2020. It's my first time going live in my Connected Entrepreneur group. If you're here and you're joining me, say hi. Let me know that you're here and you're watching me. So I'm just going to dive right in, you guys. Today, I want to talk about something that I know is on the forefront of so many people's minds this time of year, right? And that's the whole goals and the whole resolutions and the whole planning your business, planning yourself for success this year. And so I think it's just such a perfect time to talk about this, not from that goal setting standpoint, not from the planning standpoint. I mean, we're going to talk about that a little bit today, but really from the standpoint of what you need to be doing on a daily basis consistently to help you actually stick to your goals, to help you actually achieve those goals, whatever they may be, right? So while I do a lot of planning and nitty gritty, actual 90 days, 30 days, 60-day goal setting and planning with my clients, that's not what we're going to really be talking about today. Today, I really, really want to talk about the thing behind the thing, because there's always a thing behind the thing, right? And the thing that actually helps you get to those goals, help you stick to those goals. So I see a couple of you are here. If you're here, just say hi. Just let me know who you are and where you're joining me from. And let me pull my notes up. Okay. So I'm just going to dive right in, you guys. And let me just pull up my notes and get it set up. Okay, yeah. So I'm just going to dive right in. So again, this is the time of the year where people, they'll make I know that this year is going to be different and I want to accomplish X, Y, or Z before the end of the year, whether that's a money goal, whether that's a weight goal, whatever that might look like for you. What I'm going to share today can actually apply to any of your goals, right? And the difference that I want you guys to just keep in mind is that you need to know the difference between a goal and a plan, right? So the goal is the thing that you desire. The goal is the X amount of weight, X amount of money, travel, whatever that goal is, that's the thing. The plan is the thing you put in motion to actually help you get to that goal. So there's a great little quote. I don't know who said it, but it said a goal without a plan is just a wish. And I could not love that anymore because that's the truth, right? We can sit there and we can wish for this and wish for that. We can sit there and we can put all these different goals in place and write things down and make these declarations. But a goal without a plan, you guys, is just a wish. And so that's kind of really, really what I want to be talking about today. I really want to dive into that. So what I know is that the reason why people struggle to actually hit their goals is because they either, one, they don't have a plan in place, a real plan in place, a legitimate, actual, tangible, achievable plan in place to help them get to that goal, or they're not staying consistent with the plan that they have outlined, right? And I think that's usually it's usually that more so than the other. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Hi Brandy, hi Sadia. So just so you all know, Sadia Sattar, who is in this group, is of no relation, but her name is very similar to mine and we share the same last name. So hey Sadia, what's up? So what was I saying? So it's more often than not that you don't have the plan in place. While that could be the case, more often than not, it's that people are not actually staying consistent with their plan. So I'm just going to use the quick little weight loss example just because that's just so easy to like demonstrate. So the plan is, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds, right? I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to cut out carbs. That's your plan. Most people have some degree of a plan in place. But what happens more often than not, and what trips people up and why people actually struggle to hit their goal, is because they're not staying consistent with their plan. So today, what I'm going to be addressing on this live stream is what I have sort of determined and devised over all of my years of coaching, of being a human, of having plans and not being able to stick to them, of actually just walking this course with all of you, is 2 main things that I've found boils down to why people are not staying consistent with their plans. And I want to share that with you guys, and I want to make it super implementable for you to see how you can actually, like, where this is showing up for you too, and where you can start applying it in your life as well. So the 2 main things that I've found, the reasons why people do not stay consistent with their plan is, 1, they either don't trust in themselves or don't trust in their plan. Hi, Astrid, how are you? So great to see you. Happy New Year. They don't trust in themselves or in their plan. And then the other thing is the habits, right? So today I'm going to touch on that trust piece first, and then we'll kind of like dive more into the habits, because I really do believe that they go hand in hand. And sometimes it's just easier to start with those tangible habits. It's easier to start working on those tangible habits first to then start building on the trust piece, right? The trust part is something that is always an ongoing work. It's always a thing that's taking place behind the scenes. But I found that sometimes as humans, we like to see evidence that the thing is working, and that helps to actually build our trust. And so hold on, I'm getting an error on my screen. By actually implementing some of the things that I'm going to talk about, doing these tangible things will help to build that trust, hopefully. So let's talk about that trust piece a little bit, you guys. Here's what I found. And if you guys are here and you're joining me and any of this resonates with you, just let me know. If like, give me an emoji, give me something to let me know if this is resonating with you. So let's use that same example. Actually, let's use a business example, because all of my people in here are business owners of some level. So let's say that you've decided that in 2020, you want to sign, 5 new clients by the end of January. I'm just going to pick something, right? And you've put this plan in place. Okay, I am going to show up on social media. I'm going to send X amount of emails. I'm going to create X amount of content. I'm going to go out there and network or do whatever the plan is that you've decided on. The problem is where the trust comes in is it's not only about making that plan, but it's about deciding that this is the plan that is action, and trusting that that plan is the best plan of action. Okay, and I'm going to say that again one more time because I think I kind of butchered that. But I mean to say, deciding, okay, I'm going to show up on social media every day and I'm going to create 3 pieces of content every day, right? I'm just making something up. But it's not just about planning that out and saying that and declaring that and making that decision. It's about trusting that that's actually the best decision for you and for your business. And also, I want to just point out that there's always room to make adjustments in the plan. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. You can be flexible with that plan. You can some days change it to 2 pieces of content, or you can change it to showing up 3 times instead of 2 times on social media. There's always room to adjust the plan. But the problem is you cannot, what we can't have happen is having you remaking over and over again if that is actually the right plan. So I'm going to say that again. It's not that you can't adjust your plan. It's not that you can't make tweaks to your plan. What we can't have you do is constantly second guessing and questioning if Should I really be going on social media? Should I really be posting content? Should I really be engaging in those groups? It's that line of thinking and that line of second guessing and not trusting in the plan that you've put in place, right? Because what that leads to is a lot of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. And that stagnates and delays your progress, right? The key for you to implement, the key, like honestly, in implementing and getting results in any plan is to actually commit to doing it consistently. So if we had to go back to that weight loss example, right? and we go back to the example of, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week and I'm going to cut back on my carbs. It's not that you can't make that adjustment and say, okay, I'm a little sore today. I'm only going to go twice, or, I'm going to, cut back on my carbs on X amount of days and have a cheat day, whatever. It's not that you cannot make those adjustments in your plan as long as they don't throw you off completely from your overall goal. But what you can't be doing is second guessing if, should I really be going to the gym, or should I be lifting weights, or should I be doing yoga? Should I be doing cardio, or should I be just doing Pilates? Should I be doing weights? And not you cannot keep second guessing and questioning yourself over and over and over again if the plan that you've decided on is actually the right plan or not, right? Because that's the thing that wears down your trust in yourself. And that's the thing that actually leads you to being inconsistent with actually sticking to the plan. If every day you're hopping on social media and you're like, I'm not even sure if I should be posting content today, or I'm not even sure if I should be doing, should I do weights today, or should I do cardio today? That's what's going to leave your brain in that decision fatigue and have you bouncing back and forth, which again stagnates your progress and causes you to feel a disconnect between you and that plan, and leads you to being very inconsistent with your action, right? Because it comes down to really, in order for you to execute and for you to see results, you've got to stay consistent, right? Do you guys agree with me? In order for you to see results in anything and to actually execute on any plan, you've got to stay consistent. And if you agree with me, give me a thumbs up in the comments if you agree with that, right? But if you're not consistent, you're not going to see the results. So to help you, hey Kat, how are you? Thanks for joining. So to help you with that consistency, this leads to that the other thing number 2, which is your habits, right? So the trust part, as I mentioned before, when you start to actually implement good habits and you actually start to stay consistent with those habits, it's easy then for your mind to start to see the results, which builds the trust. Because like I said, those two things go hand in hand. And sometimes it's just easier to work on the tangible things, which helps to develop that trust and build that trust in yourself. So let's talk about the habits, you guys. And I don't know if any of you are familiar with thought work, and if you're a coach, you probably are familiar with thought work, meaning your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. This is going to kind of, it's a lot about that. It's a lot about, working and playing on that. And so when we talk about our habits, right, in order for you to stay consistent with anything, it's about your discipline and your habits. So the title of this live stream is Setting Yourself Up for Success so you can stick to and crush your goals in 2020, right? And ultimately, you guys, that comes down to the trust that we just talked about. And it comes down to the habits that you have in place, because without those habits, you're not going to execute on your plans. And, I'm not going to go, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not going to go nitty gritty into the detailed planning because the planning part, meaning knowing what your marketing plan is, knowing what your content plan is, knowing what whatever plan you have in place. I do that with my one-on-one clients, but none of that stuff matters without us paying attention to the piece that I'm going to be sharing right now, which is knowing what your habits are and what are the things that are actually triggering you and stopping you from, executing on whatever the plan is. So what I want to talk about today, you guys, are like the 5 things as it relates to your habits that you need to be like aware of and paying attention to so that you can stick with your plan. So whatever your goal is that you want to achieve, right? You got to have a plan in place to achieve that goal. We've already established that. When you find yourself being inconsistent around the plan that you've put in place, right? It's typically because you're not, because you're triggered by something that actually, takes you off of that plan. So again, I'm going to use 2 examples. I'll use the weight loss example just because that's so easy to apply. And I'll use the entrepreneur example. So the plan is I'm going to show up on social media. I'm going to post on social media, right? And you're going to go and you're going to engage on social media. That's your plan. You get onto Facebook and then you get sucked into the vortex of all the Facebook groups and all the comments and looking at what somebody else is doing and looking at how they're talking about their business and looking at how much money they've made in their business. And then all of a sudden that triggers you to do something, fill in the blanks, whatever that is for you, right? That triggers you to either like feel like you're not doing enough, feel like you should be doing X, Y, or Z instead of what you already decided you were going to do. Maybe I should try this. Maybe I should try something else. Triggers you to either like lose track of your time completely, whatever the case may be, right? That triggers something. And then that'll happen more often than not. That'll become a pattern for you, right? And as a result of that trigger, you all of a sudden deviate from your plan. When you deviate from your plan enough times, guess what? You're not hitting your goals, right? So you've got to first start by really knowing what those triggers are. You got to know if that trigger is getting online and being in certain groups or being online for too long or, whatever the case may be. You've got to know what that trigger is. I know for me, a few years ago when I was super triggered by certain things online, I used to like get up and the first thing I would do was hop on my phone. And when I got on my phone, like I would just naturally, my fingers and my brain would go to that spot on my iPhone to swipe where my Instagram app was or where my Facebook app was. And that was causing me to lose like 20 to 30 minutes in my morning. And then when I lost that 20 to 30 minutes in my morning, I would just have to get up and hustle and move into all the other things. And ultimately, I wasn't getting my workouts in long enough, or I was feeling frustrated with something. And I like peeled it back to that being one of my first things that I was doing. So I recognized that was a pattern for me. So you're going to have to know what your trigger is. That's the thing number 1. And thing number 2 is then recognizing what's your pattern. Like what's the thing that triggers you? So if we were to use the weight loss example, right? Astrid says, yep, that resonates. So if we were to use the weight loss example and you know that you're trying to lose weight and you know that sugar, which is me, sugar, chocolates, that's your thing. That's the thing that your weakness for, right? What triggers that? Comparison is the thief of taking committed action. 100%. I love that, Astrid. I'm going to say that for all of you who are watching. Comparison is the thief of taking committed action. Totally, totally, totally. I love that. So let's go back to the trigger. So for me, let's say sugar, and sugar is legitimately my thing, you guys. Like I love me a good chocolate bar. And if I'm right now trying to lose weight, right? So I also know that at a certain time of day, I get like triggered. I start to feel like there's, I'm hitting a slump, whatever the case may be. That's my pattern. But typically what triggers that is when I feel like I'm not getting enough done fast enough and that time of day is approaching, right? That's my personal thing because I know like I've got to get my kids at a certain time. And when my kids get home, I shift from business mode to mom mode, right? And I know that I'm not going to be able to really pay attention back to my clients or my business until later on that night or the following day, right? So I know my trigger is when I am looking at my time and I'm not getting certain things done, I start to get stressed out. And that's like an emotional trigger for me. And it usually happens at a certain time of day. So that's my pattern. what that then leads to that whole cycle, right? Of like you're not really like getting the things that you need to get done. And then at the end of the day, you just haven't hit your goal, whatever that is, right? So you've got to know what that trigger is, and then you've got to recognize what your pattern is. When is it showing up? Who triggers it? Like, is it a person? Is it a thing? Is it a feeling? What triggers that, right? And then you've got to actually replace the thing that you do. Like, so is it reaching for the candy bar? Is it going on social media and like staying in the groups too long? Whatever the case may be, replacing that with a positive habit. So can you, instead of reaching for the candy bar, drink a glass of water, or reach for some nuts, or reach for some, celery sticks or something, right? Instead of like going on social media, could you perhaps sit down and journal something out? Could you go outside for a walk? Figure out what your triggers are, recognize what the pattern is, and 3, replace it with a positive habit, right? And then you've got 4, actually condition yourself. Condition yourself so that you are cultivating this new habit by practicing it consistently. When you cultivate that consistently and you condition your brain to now go for the healthier option, go for the thing that's actually going to help you get to your goal, right? If you know, again, social media takes up so much of your time. If you go on and you're losing time when you should be marketing your business, or you should be like creating content, or you should be doing something else, go and replace that with a positive habit and cultivate that more consistently, because you're losing the time. Whatever that trigger is, whatever you're doing, that habit that you default to, that's keeping you further and further away from that goal, right? So when you've cultivated that and you're doing that consistently, the last thing you want to do, and I think you guys, sometimes I think this is the most important. This is the most important in my belief, is that you've got to like create a support system around you. You've got to create your ecology, your wall almost, right? Where it's like you're setting up your surroundings with the people and things that actually help support this new habit or this goal that you want. So let's use a social media example, right? If you know that's your trigger and you know that's the thing, what can you do to like set yourself up with people and things so that you don't get yourself sucked into that? Could you put a timer on your phone? Okay, I'm going to be on social media for 10 minutes. Could you like, tell, someone in the morning, like for me, like make sure I put my phone like, not next to my bedside table so that I'm not triggered to like go pick it up and hop on social media? Is it removing the app altogether? I know quite a few people who've actually removed their social media apps and have found it to be their days to be so much more productive and getting so much done in their online businesses, which is ran on social media, by the way, right? So in terms of the weight loss example, is it like actually getting rid of the triggering foods from your pantry or from your home and your fridge, right? Is it, weight loss and health coaches tell you this all the time. Is it about like replacing that bowl of like candy with the bowl of fruit? Whatever the case may be, you have to set your surroundings around you with the people and things that'll help you achieve this habit. So you guys, whether it is weight loss, whether it's your business, whatever your unique goal is for 2020, in order for you to actually accomplish that goal, you've got to like reverse engineer it, as with everything, right? You've got to like look at, okay, what is my plan that I have in place that I want to get to this goal? And look at that plan and say, what are my blind spots? Like, where do I go off on this plan? Where do I deviate from my plan? Where am I not trusting myself enough when it comes to my plan? And then you've got to strengthen that, right? So go back through those 5 things that I just mentioned. Know what the triggers are. Recognize your patterns. Replace the pattern of like going for the wrong habit with a positive habit. Condition and cultivate the new habit by practicing it consistently, and then set your surroundings around yourself so that you can actually accomplish. This is literally what setting yourself up for success looks like, right? The best gift you can give yourself is knowing what your weaknesses are and like anticipating that and setting yourself up for success, removing the things that you know is causing you to like choose the bad habit, to deviate from your plan, to not stick to the things that you want, because that's how you're going to get to your goal. You've literally got to like really put, and especially if you're the person who struggle with this, right? Like if you know, like you're the kind of person that in January, you're going to say you want X, Y, or Z. And come December, you're going to like feel like shit and be wronging yourself because you haven't hit that goal once again. This is the time where you've got to do things differently. This is the time where if you really, really want to hit whatever that goal is you want for this year, whether it's like getting 10 clients, growing to, 6 figures, 4 figures, whatever you want, whatever your goal is, whether it's losing weight, whether it's whatever your goal is. If you've been saying you've wanted this for a while and you're just not getting there, it's not because it's likely not because you don't have a plan in place. And if you don't have a plan in place, that's something you absolutely should start working on and like figuring that out. But it's more likely because you're not sticking to your plan. And it is time for you to actually do something differently. It's time for you to really set yourself up for success. Build that wall, build that team, build that support around yourself. Create your environment, help yourself so that you can get to that goal. Make it so that it's impenetrable, whatever the thing is, so that you know you will hit your goal. Because what tends to happen is that people start to give up on whatever that goal is. People start to give up on themselves. People start to lose trust in themselves. People start to lose trust in their business and in their abilities to achieve the things that they want to achieve in life. And it's no fault of anybody else's but ourselves, right? It's no fault of the market or of social media or of, the junk food industry or of anything else. It is literally you not doing or working hard enough. And when I say hard enough, I just mean working smartly, like talking about the things I just shared with you today. It's about you not doing this part of the work. It's about you not like anticipating, where are my blind spots? What are my weaknesses? Where do I get sucked into that vortex? And how do I make sure that I am not repeating this pattern, that I'm breaking this cycle? This is the biggest gift you can give yourself. I don't care how many like calendars you have and how many planners you have, and I don't care how long your lists of goals are. Without this stuff, it's just scribblings on the wall, right? Without this stuff, it's just a wish. And you're never going to get there, because if you keep doing the same thing and you're not addressing those habits and you're not addressing those triggers and you're not addressing that trust, every year is going to come and go with that thing never checking that thing off, right? And nothing depletes your self-trust and your confidence more than you like seeing that you're just not getting the results that you keep saying you want, right? And those results are ultimately and only up to you. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. If you're still here, which I see many of you still are, let me know if any of this resonated for you. I have like another 5 minutes before I have to hop off. If you have any questions on this, maybe what's a goal that you've been struggling with, or something that has been on your list of things that you've wanted to do for a while and you're just not hitting it. Just let me know, put it in the comments. Or maybe what's a pattern? What's that trigger for some of you that maybe I can support you with here. So Astrid said, the more informed you are, the better decisions that you will make to make. Okay, let me read that again. The more informed you are, the better decisions that you will make to make you more successful. Trust the process. 100%. And I think this is so much part of the mindset work, right? Because it's like, the more you know yourself, the more informed you are about like where your blind spots, where your weaknesses, what those patterns are for you. And you can really approach it from a place of love and compassion and curiosity. That's the best thing, right? It's not about wronging yourself. It's not about shaming yourself. It's not about feeling like a failure or feeling like you're not good enough or feeling like you're never going to do it. It's about really being curious about who you are and showing yourself, giving yourself grace and love and showing yourself compassion as you journey through becoming the better version of you, right? It's about like really looking, okay, I know these are the things that trigger me. I know this is where I really need to work on. And instead of, again, beating yourself up and wronging yourself for not hitting those goals, it's really peeling back those layers and getting curious and really looking at your life and looking at yourself and looking at your habits from that level, that layer of curiosity around, okay, what do I need to do differently? Let's try this. What do I need to like implement here? What's not working? What isn't working? And you guys, business is exactly the same, right? In your marketing and in your business is exactly the same. It's not about like, you know, like shitting on social media and saying that, you know, this doesn't work and that doesn't work and blaming everybody and looking at what everybody else is doing. It's about looking at like staying in your lane and looking at your own business, your own, you know, marketing, your own stuff that you've got going on and really being curious around what's working, what's not working, why is it not working? And like really approaching it from a place of like love and curiosity versus, again, wronging yourself and shaming yourself and making everything feel like harder than it needs to be, because you're never going to get results from that place. You're only going to feel worse about it. You're only going to doubt yourself more. You're only going to chip away more at your self-trust. So let me see, I think I have some more comments. This is really, really what I needed. Oh my gosh, so good. I'm so glad it was helpful for you, Sadia. Astrid says, don't be afraid to show your weaknesses as well as your strengths. That is how you grow. 100%, girl, 100%. Your weaknesses, really, when you're able to really see your weaknesses, that's the only and ever way you're able to grow, because that's how you improve. That's how you become the better version of you, right? So I'm really glad this was helpful for those of you who are on here. I want to wish all of you again a happy new year. I'm so excited. I haven't been live in the group in a while. If you have any other questions, just pop them in the comments. I'm going to hop off now. I got to go grab my kiddo. I'm going to get something to eat, something healthy to eat, because I am on a new diet plan. Not diet. Diet is a whole other conversation. I'm working towards my goals. And normally, you guys, just to be fully transparent, normally I would be working all this time and then I would stop and then I would go pick up my daughter and then I would come home and my other kids would come off the bus and it would just be like afternoon craziness in my household. And usually I used to not leave much white space between the two. And I found that really pushes me into a stressful place. So when I shared all that I shared today, it's not because I don't know what it's like to go through this. I'm working through this stuff every single day. And I've seen what has helped me, and which is why I want to share these things with you guys, because I wasn't leaving much white space between my business when I would cut off from business and go into mom mode. And so what that would leave is me feeling a lot of stress. And when I'm stressed, I'm an emotional eater. And then the kids would come home and they would pull out the snacks and it would be a whole thing. Hello, 60 pounds later, right? So I've known like this has been a journey for me. And so for me, I've consciously made choices and have been making choices for quite a while so that I'm setting up my home and my environment and everything so that it supports this goal of mine to lose this weight or to do whatever it is that my goals are. And so wish me luck. And so far I'm doing pretty good. And it really is hard work because we have to almost reprogram our brains and we have to kind of change what we've been so used to. And we've got to do the work to actually not go to our default tendencies, right? And that's where I talked about the habits, really breaking those habits and replacing it with more positive habits. So I'm going to end on that note. Thank you for the reminder of this. I needed this right now. So glad it was helpful for you, Astrid. And I hope you're doing well. And I hope, I think you're having much I think your weather over there is a lot better than us here in New York right now. But I'm so glad this was helpful for you. And I'm going to be back next week with another live. And thank you guys all for joining me. And I will see you soon. And good luck to all of you with whatever goals, whatever habits you have, and whatever goals you have in place, and whatever plans you've put in place to help you accomplish those goals. And I will see you soon.